Shalom to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Hate evil and love the good.
Holy lineage, stuck on this earthly pilgrimage, lost or will to live, the kingdom's at hand, place of biz, because of mental explosion, brain corrosion, collecting heads and Romans, awakening
That he's going to put prophecy in Ezra's mouth, and it says
the chosen, while the universe stands frozen, the prophecies start unfolding, exploding, while the whole world sleeps, the shepherds are lost, sheep creep deep to the golden gates. It's Esau, the Lord hates from crime to thievery, to even murder and rape. We close his rapes, watch them like grapes, while these fakes that perpetrate, my people's there's no equal in this. We do the Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I know it's hard like bricks, but don't trip, we got the kingdom coming. No more slumming and bumming, the Lord's coming. Busting through, reach St. John, 4 and 22, and guess who? The Lord's got a sword for, settle the score. All you heathens hit the floor. See these 12 stars, defenders of the law. Tiger wasn't up to par for this. Scandalous, murderous, evangelist who's girded up, ready to die for the words of the script. We too wise to be dumb. The hell with ice, we want the kingdom. Let's get out these sons, I'm telling where we from. Israel, you heard this, tuck tail, the bell, your rhymes is trail. You stepped in the zone when we excel. We too wise to be dumb. The hell with ice, we want the kingdom. Let's get out these
like you said, everybody got an opinion, right? But not according to wisdom and understanding.
I pop my collar like small.
Yeah, you got two choices, man. Take the blue or the red pill. Take the blue pill, stay your ass in the world and keep on eating microwave dinner. You wanna take the red pill? You can come out and wine and dine with me. It's a mouth, man, let's do it. I got a Kevlar mind with Teflon rhymes, antidote to venomous minds that decline the truth. Trapped in a box, thoughts locked, programmed to be spooked. I'm on some lynch mob shit, buck the devil programmed to shoot. And got some steel at the tip of my boots just to regulate. We can get it all night and morning, just name the date. And don't hesitate, being a gangster ain't no good if your thoughts is featherweight. I don't care who got the best team, I'm here to drop the word and keep it moving like jet streams. The luster green got my niggas moving like dope fiends. You gotta see the picture, but it ain't made for flat screens. Lemur Park and Skid Row was where he's last seen. Survivalist with holy water filled in his canteen. The boogeyman's here to put an end to American dreams. I'm out of sight of extraterrestrial beings. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like a tracks on a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yo, heavyweight Solomon jewels, I use knowledge to rule. Rejecting wisdom as an act of a fool. Christ is king, born to rule, let's take him to school. Open up the sword, baby, let it do what it do. Simple as that, Van Helsing the rap. I swing lefty when I'm holding a bat, righty when I'm holding a cat, man. On the highway to heaven, dipping out in the fast lane. I let my hair grow, OD'd on Rogaine. Spit the hot shit, taking shots of propane. SOJ created our own lane. I'm pacing for a queen, got no time for a dumb dame. Nowadays to be heard, I gotta be rude and profane. Dumb down my knowledge, make me look like I'm some lame. It's a trip of niggas with chump change, be so vain. It's the principle of truth, IQAhmath his first name. Come on. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like the tracks in a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yeah, okay, so understand what I'm putting out there. Red pillars only, okay? You wanna take the blue pill, microwave, popcorn your ass to death, go ahead. You know, I ain't got time for that, man. I'm too focused for that. The soldiers that I roll with is too focused for that. So if you wanna get down, get your mind right, come and holler at me, you know? Because when Yahweh Shah comes back, it's a rap like a gypsy mummy. A lot of these heathens wanna trip and act a fool. I thug it out for the Lord, and I don't need no tattoos. We drop bombs with the Bible while you stand there baffled, looking like you seen a ghost. I'm with the Lord of hosts. Still keep a hood, crack the yak, and we can take a toast. Cheers.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic check. You ain't wasting no time, huh, brother? No time. All right. Let me know if I'm coming in clear now. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Why Yahweh Shada. All right. Sounds like we're coming in clear now, man. All praise to the Most High. Again, it's another episode, DSTM. This is your brother IQAhmath, IQAhmath, first name IQ. It's all the same. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. But if you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. It's dangerous over here. Dangerous over here. All praises, man. All right. Appreciate y'all feedback. Let me know that my audio wasn't coming in. These mics is whatever. You already see the title, man. The devastating reality America is facing. We're going to talk about it as we always do, because the crystal is getting more clearer. The mirror is getting more, all the blotches, all of the spots on the mirror, everything is becoming even more clear. The reflection is being shown that this place going down, right? We've got multiple headlines from America's debt and bond crisis coming into play. You're talking $40 trillion in debt, insurmountable amount of debt. The only thing that America was almost able to do was pay the interest on their debt, and they can't even do that. But they want to shame you and shame me when you're late on one payment. They want to shame you and shame me to threaten to take your house, your car, your home, you name it, if you can't pay a bill. America has not been able to pay their bills in decades. But guess what? They don't face the same consequences as you or me, right? That's why the Lord has to judge this place, because they are not just. They're not fair and balanced. And what they say, well, if you can't handle your debt, file for bankruptcy, start back over, but you're going to have a red dot on your credit, a red dot on your spiritual financial head, that everybody is going to, a scarlet letter, stay away from them. You understand what I'm saying? So you've got that. You got the 60-day ceasefire that's over with regarding Iran and America. Publicly now, nations are being told, choose your sides now. We see the crisis going on in Indiana. We'll talk about that. Hawaii got hit with a major storm last week, and they're expecting much more water this week. So we've got weather anomalies. You've got all hell breaking loose up in Dearborn, Michigan, between the Muslims and the Muslim community and the Edomites up there. So you got racial tensions and religious warfare being jumped off over there. You've got the financial collapse. I mean, you name it. This is the reality that we got to deal with. Okay. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Everything and anything I've been talking about, brother's been talking about for years on end. If you don't see it by now, man, hey, I can't help you. I can't help you. Okay. Let's start Ezekiel 3, verse 1. It says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. So what's the roll? The roll is the scriptures, right? The roll is the prophecies. The roll is the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding that's being presented by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? And it says, eat it up, meaning what? To digest it, to be able to, no, let me get a precept for that too, because let's go to Sirach 15. Sirach 15, right? And let's read 1 down to 3. It says, he that feareth the Lord will do good, and he that hath the knowledge of the law shall obtain her, right? If you fear the Most High, you're going to do good. You notice now that there's a lack of fear of God in the land, and that's why iniquity has abound, the love of many waxing cold. People are now just doing what they want to do. People are doing what they feel as though is right in their own eyes, and they're trying to establish their own way. Their own way clearly is not working because we see how the Most High is judging the earth. But it says, he that have knowledge of the law shall obtain it. What's obtaining? Obtaining what? The good of the Most High. So if we keep the knowledge of the law, we'll obtain the knowledge that's going to help us to gain salvation. Verse 2, it says, and as a mother shall she meet him and receive him as a wife married of a virgin. What's it talking about? It's talking about the knowledge. Knowledge of the law is going to be greeted. It's going to be welcomed. It's going to be such an elation. It's going to be a euphoria that once a brother or a sister comes into the knowledge of the law, comes into the knowledge of themselves, it's a joyous occasion. Luke 15:7 says that he that converted the sinner from the error of his ways, there's joy in heaven. Right? Maybe we'll get that one too. But you know what? Hold on. Let's get that one too. We're on the road. Moving in the spirit. Luke 15. And yeah, here we go. Look at it. Luke 15:7. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth, more than over 99 just persons which need no repentance. So what do we gain from this? One brick at a time is all we need. That's why I always say it's not about the masses of numbers that, you know, we tend to get enamored with when we look at, you know, Israelites, camps, whatever, congregations, churches, etc. The Most High said, if you can get one to change, that's better than the 99 is over there keeping the Sabbath, doing everything they're supposed to be doing. The Most High is like that. You don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. The credit comes when you make and get and gain the soul of somebody doing something that they weren't accustomed to in order to bring them to the Lord, right? So that's the joy. Now getting back to Sirach, it says, and as a mother shall she meet him and receive him as a wife married of a virgin. That's the joy, right? Now here's the eating. Verse 3, with the bread of understanding shall she feed him and give him the water of wisdom to drink. That's the consumption. Feeding of wisdom, getting the knowledge, right? Drinking the wisdom, feeding the bread of understanding, gaining the knowledge, right? So when we go back to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, it says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, eat that thou findest. What did he find? Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? That's the role. That's the scriptures. And go speak unto the house of Israel. This is a privatized message. It's not for everybody. This is an alert and alarming for the people who it pertains to, the people who are in danger. So I opened my mouth and caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, son of man, cause thy belly to eat and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. Yeah, so when, you know, Ezekiel received the roll, he's getting the joy and the elation of understanding the knowledge and the wisdom, understanding of the Most High, the prophecies, the judgment, so forth and so on. Sweet, right? Now John says he got the same feeling when he got the knowledge, he got the revelation. He said, man, it was sweet as honey. But then once he digested it and he understood the overall outcomes and what had to happen in order for everything to come to pass, he said it became bitter in his belly. Yeah, because the harsh reality start kicking in of what it's going to take for our children, for the children of the Most High to wake up, to acknowledge their sins and their iniquities, to turn face and worship the Most High in truth and the spirit, as opposed to the rejections, you know, the scoffings, the cursings, you know, all those things. It becomes even more harder. It's like, oh shoot, okay, I like everything I'm hearing, but I don't like that much. I don't like that part. That's the hard part, right? So now it says, and he said unto me, son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel and speak my words unto them. So these words need to be spoken to the children of Israel. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. So we're not going to unfamiliarized territory. You're going to your people, a comfortable people, blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics. We're supposed to be going to of people that we're accustomed to knowing as our quote unquote neighbors. When you read in Leviticus 19 and I believe it's like 18, where it says our neighbor is our brother, a fellow Israelite. That's why the Lord said, you're not going to the nations. You're not going to these people of a strange speech, hard language. You're not going to unfamiliarized people that you did not come up with, that you have no ethnic affiliations with. You're going to go and speak plain to the same people that you grew up with or that you used to be in your family and so forth and so on. To the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech, of a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me, for all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. It said all of us. At one point in time, you was hard-headed, stiff-necked. I was hard-headed, stiff-necked, impudent, hard-hearted. Couldn't tell me nothing. I wanted my way. I got my own personal relationship with God and Jesus Christ, and that's what we thought was the way to go. Now, verse 8, and this is the task that the men of the Lord face continuously. Y'all see the videos, highways and the hedges, brothers out there on the street corners and the places of concourse and business and so forth and so on, crying aloud, sparing not, lifting up our voices like trumpets, trying to show our people their transgressions, and the scoffing and the mockings and the cutting of the eyes and the arguments and getting into physical altercations and the whole nine. Weapons pulled. Why? Because the house of Israel is impudent and hard-hearted. The Most High said, when I set you out to put this word out there, strap up your boots and get ready. Because you going to your people. You going to them same knuckleheaded Israelites. It says, behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. So in the spirit of knowledge and wisdom and understanding, the Lord said, you'll be well equipped to stand up against their knowledge, the thing that's coming from their head, to be able to cut down them strongholds and cut down those stumbling blocks. And at the same time, physically, when they get aggressive and they get hard-hearted and loud, and the Lord said, match that energy with them. They always say we're the ones yelling all the time, but yeah, that's because we speak from passion. We speak from a place of understanding and saying that I've got to be the alarm clock and the horn to wake you up. Our people's out here zombified. The Lord was like, yeah, you're going to have to get loud with them. But then when they get all rebellious and tripping the most, I was like, no, you don't back down to them. They always say hit dogs holler. But what they getting hit with? They getting hit with that word. We ain't got nothing but the Bible. And, people get so offended and shook up and, threatened by the word. You understand? So this is what the Lord's telling us, how he's going to equip us when we go out for that understanding, or to share that understanding. Verse 9, as an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead, fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. So the Most High was like, look, I'm sending you out to these people. They ain't no joke, but you're going to be prepared to deal with them. And that even goes into, we'll talk about it later, even within the quote unquote woke red-pilled nation of Israel. I'm talking about those already in the truth. That hard-headed, stiff-necked, rebellious spirit hasn't left a lot of y'all, a lot of us. It's still there. It's still there. I'll give you an example later. But look at this, Ezekiel 33:1. So I would be remiss if knowing and understanding and seeing what's going on the earth, what's happening in the place in the land in which we dwell and others. I was just talking to a brother, one of the brothers in Jamaica, man. Shout out to my brother Yehuda. And we was talking about the plight and the strife and the issues that's going on over there in Jamaica right now. They're pushing super hard already. Agenda 2030, digital ID, the mark system, they're pushing it heavy over there. You're talking, there's legislation on deck right now where They're restricting people to eat in their cars. You can't let nobody borrow your car. They want to be able to positively identify you everywhere and anywhere that you go. You can't plant or have a garden without permits. The nations is rising above them. They have and own nothing right now. All the heathen own everything, from the food to the banking system. Everything is being ran by either Esau or Moab or Elam. They have nothing over there. I'm gonna share some things what's going on with them on another day. But if we talking about building blocks of where they're already established, they're gonna go to the smaller countries who are still under, British rule and French, French rule and stuff like that. West African. They're gonna hit them up first, right? Because of the resistance. Even though the history of rebellions with the Haitians and the Maroons and the Caribbean and all that was heavy back then, but they're docile now. They ain't got beat down so much they don't even want to fight no more. They're going along with the flow. Same here, but you're seeing now our people starting to wake up a little bit. Why are they waking up now? Because they see things affecting them directly. It's easy to kind of disannul things when it's not affecting you directly. It's like, oh, that's happening over there. Okay, well, it's a good thing I'm over here. But once it starts hitting home, then it's like, oh, shoot. It's here now. Oh, yeah, your pockets are being affected. Your gas is being affected. Your electric bill is being affected. The cost of your child care is going up. Even down to the YouTube and all that other stuff, man. I know it's become a safe haven for a lot of people, creating side incomes and side hustles. And some people have blown up so much where it's not even a side hustle. It's an everyday job now to create content. The YouTube is changing their monetization rules along with the other ones, TikTok and all them other ones. You know how it goes. What they do is they continually extend the qualifications for you to monetize your material. I don't know all of the detail, but I know it's like, just for instance, and these aren't exact numbers. These are just made up numbers. I'm just saying this is how it kind of operates. You got to have, and the shorts work different than the regular videos, but you got to have a certain amount of watch time, a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of views in order for them to pay you or to create a quote unquote partnership with YouTube and advertisers. So let's just say, oh, you got to have 10,000 hours of watch time in a month. You got to have 2 million views a month. You got to have so many, a few thousand subscribers or whatever. And then they'll start talking about breaking up the pie. That's already a lot of views, right? But imagine they say, we're going to need 20,000 hours of watch time now. We're going to need, 5 million monthly views. And you understand what I'm saying? They just keep pushing it up. Same way they did with Social Security. Starting at whatever it was back when they initiated, around 58, now it went up to 62, now it's up to 67, now they're trying to get it to 70, because it was based upon the life expectancy of the quote unquote US citizen. So they figured, back in the 50s, they like, well, give us 40 years of your life and you can retire. We'll give you'll get your Social Security, you'll get health care, you'll get everything. You can kick your feet up until you can't no more, until they say, okay, well, actually, we're going to need to extend that time a little bit. You're still living. Oops. We didn't expect to pay all this out. That's why by 2035, they're talking about Social Security being insolvent, meaning they won't have no more money to pay everybody who's been laboring over half of their lives. So not to go off on the rant on that, but it's so much stuff going on. So getting back to the other point regarding the YouTube, even the side hustles, even the escapism that people are finding or have found, especially during the COVID era when people were quitting their jobs and they found themselves in a wonderland of content creation and they blew up. they're going to make and are going to and are making, not even going to, are going to make it even harder for them to make money. Their pockets are going to get touched because they're going to start pushing the numbers into astronomical expectations in an oversaturated field that is based upon content creation. And then you're going to really see people act a donkey for views. You think it's bad now? Wait till they really start implementing it. I believe it's already implemented in YouTube. TikTok, Instagram, they're right around the corner getting ready to do the same thing. I think TikTok is already doing it, raising up the raising the bar in order to get, monetized or paid for your content. You already think people acting a damn fool now? They really gonna do it soon. So in other words, this whole digital prison that they're getting ready to line up, nobody will be exempt. There's not gonna be no escape routes. Quit your job. That's not gonna suffice, because the digital aspect of trying to get paid. If y'all remember last week, we just seen that part of the digital ID system that is based on from the World Health Organization, WEF. They said that you're going to have to accept the digital ID just to be able to have social media content or to be able to utilize your social media. So that's not going to change. You're going to have to be in the system to get some of it. And they're already trying to make it too hard for you even to survive off of it. So, again, in the spirit of Ezekiel 33, I say this as a watchman and as a brother. Pay attention. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, and he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. So, we all have, and in particular the men of the Lord, because the scriptures in Ezekiel 34:31 says, the sheep of the Most High pasture as men. That's a heavy burden that brothers have to bear. The Lord said that we have to sound the trumpet when we see a sword, or we see, and the sword is imminent of destruction. The Lord said, if you don't see, if a brother sees calamity, destruction, things of that nature coming down the pipeline, or fastly approaching, and doesn't warn the people, that brother's got hell to pay. But if he does a job and says, hey, I'm gonna put this out there, take it for what it is, utilize it if you will, the Lord said, hey, you did your job, wash your hands, it's good. But what happened? Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away. So if the person says, yeah, I heard about all that. Yeah, I know we Israel. Yeah, y'all are a cult. No, okay. The Lord said, when they get taken away through the destructions, y'all been saying it's the last days for the last 50 years. I don't want to hear about all that, man. I'm out here getting this money. I'm out here tricking these niggas. I'm like, okay, that's the life. That's what you choose to do. Oh no, my pastor didn't say. My pastor interprets it this way. Oh no, that's not going to happen. We're in a time of prosperity. Prosperity doctrine rules. All right. If the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, the Lord said, man, if you see and don't blow that trumpet, he said, if anybody passes from that, he is taken away in his iniquity. The Lord said, yeah, I'm still going to get them, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So not only what's the iniquity? Well, that person that was caught in sin, unrighteousness, wickedness, abominations, that's going to be the judgment of them. That's why the Lord told us, you got to go out, cry aloud, lift up that voice like a trumpet, show my people their transgressions. Why? Because otherwise they're going to die in their iniquity regardless. But the Lord said, it's your fault that they died in their iniquity if you didn't warn them. So thou son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me. Yeah. So the Lord said, warn them from him. because everything that's coming down the pipeline, this is all of the Most High, right? Ezekiel 37 and verse 9. So what if they don't, what if they want to hear? The Lord even told us in Ezekiel, I'm going to read that back in Ezekiel 3. But let's read verse 9 first. 37 and 9 of Ezekiel. It says, Then said he unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord of power, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. So the Lord said, we still put out the word, even if we prophesy to the wind, the four corners of the earth. The Lord said the children of Israel is going to hear, and the resurrection of the dry bones is going to come back to pass, that the children of Israel is going to be back in order again. So it said, what's this? In Ezekiel 3. And told us that we got to do it whether they hear or forbear. Let's know. See that. I know it's in this. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm tripping. It's right in front of my face. Verse 11. And Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. So the Lord said, not only should we prophesy to the wind, because it's not going. The Lord said his words are not going to come back void. Verse 10 of chapter 3 of Ezekiel. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears, and go, get to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people. So who's in captivity? Who's in bondage? When Ezekiel Isaiah chapter 60 says that the gospel, the good news, is to preach liberty to the captives. Who's the captives? Remember this? This is the gospel. No, it's like 61. The spirit of the Most High power is upon me, because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Christians say, oh, they've been bound with sin. No. Good Lord. Going back to Ezekiel 3 and 11, who did he say this was? First of all, he said, go teach this to the children of Israel. Then he's acknowledging that we are the people of the captivity. Verse 11 of Ezekiel 3. And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them. I mean, how many times do we have to hear thy, them? Most High is very specific and meticulous when it comes down to his word. There's no mistaking about who the message is to. Thus saith the Lord power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. The Most High said, regardless, if they listening or not, tell them. Why? Because it washes our hands of the blood of iniquity. When the Lord says, you tried to save them from me, they didn't listen, I took note of it. You did a good job, go ahead. Well done, my good and faithful servant. But if your mum's the word, then hey, it's a problem. All right. So with that being understood, the inevitable that's coming down the pipeline for America, man, the staggering truth is no good. Not good at all. And we've been documenting, talking about it for a long time. Let me go ahead on and share my screen. Let's get right to the subjects at hand. Okay. I'll start off with the war as usual, because that's at the forefront. These are the things that's going to be most devastating to America. This is going to be most devastating as it pertains to prophecy and judgment escalating here. Okay. Now, breaking, Iran reportedly prepares to escalate war with the U.S. if the ceasefire expires. So we just talked about that 60-day memorandum of understanding and the so-called ceasefire agreement. That's over with, right? Iran is already, plotting out targets, being able to assemble their allies. America is scrambling around, telling everybody, listen, either you're with us or you're against us. Just like, George Bush said back during, what was it, 2001, the 9/11. And he said, if you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. Hard lines are being drawn in the sand right now. Let's watch this.
Switching gears to the Middle East, where tensions remain high as the U.S.'s 60-day ceasefire agreement with Iran is set to expire today.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Inks joins us live from Tel Aviv with the details. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Today, the memorandum of understanding between the United States and Iran expires. It's been 60 days since it was signed, and reports indicate very little diplomatic progress to de-escalate tension in the region and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. International shipping data indicated only 5 cargo ships passed through the strait on Saturday and none on Sunday. This is due to Iran continuing attacks on vessels. A bulk carrier reported being hit by an unknown projectile on Saturday. A day prior, an Emirati oil vessel was also targeted. President Trump said this about the critical water.
Now, remember, I thought Agent Orange said that they've got control of the strait. Remember last week he was talking about that? They've got complete control. There's no ships is coming and going. They've got all that. Clearly, we see that was another lie. As we've been documenting forever since this war started back in February, Iran is the one controlling who's coming and going. That U.S. blockade is bogus. They just got through having to send back that USS Lincoln because it was breaking down with rusted toilets, and they out there eating spam and who knows what else going on over there. People jumping ship. They just said another ship was having all kind of issues off of the coast of the Philippines over there in the Asia Pacific. Yeah, this thing's breaking down crazy. But let's continue. Now notice it said that you only got 3 or 4 ships is able to get through. So if you're talking about the passages of oil, the passages of agriculture, the passages of goods and services and all that, everything is being stalled. Let's back it up one more time.
Prior, an Emirati oil vessel was also targeted. President Trump said this about the critical waterway on Friday.
After we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Essentially, that's what it is. We have the blockade.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Iran has been using this time to prepare for a return to conflict rather than finding a diplomatic off-ramp. Iranian and Arab officials told the Journal that Iran has produced additional missiles and drones, believing that the United States was waiting for a future attack. This comes as the Trump administration and its officials, including Jared Kushner, are in the region pursuing diplomatic avenues to address the ceasefire in Gaza. Kushner met Sunday in Egypt with Hamas chief Khalil al-Hayya to solidify the process for Hamas to lay down their weapons in Gaza. Kushner was joined by Board of Peace envoys Nikolai Mladenov and Tony Blair. Reports indicate he'll meet today.
So we're going to stop that right there. I'm going to move on because you can see he couldn't even say with a straight face that they were going to take full control of the Strait of Hormuz and declare it as a U.S. territory as he giggled. He knows he's trolling, knows he's laughing and what? Same way he said that the Gulf of Mexico would be the Gulf of America when he first started. And he's laughing at the expense of your pockets and mine. Let's move on.
With Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin.
Okay, so now we see here, Russia shipping explosives to Iran to bolster its missile and drone arsenal in the U.S. war. How many times have we talked about that? Have not we mentioned staying in the spirit of Ezekiel 38. Anybody says that the word of God is not true, man, you're a goddamn fool. Just got to keep it plain. Ezekiel 38:1, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Excuse me. So a prophecy is being declared against Gog and land of Magog. All scholars and biblical people that have biblical understanding of prophecy agree that the land of Magog and Gog is Russia. Okay. Prince of Meshech and Tubal currently, and the chief prince that sits in that seat, his name is Vladimir Putin. Okay. Prophecies are being declared against this place. Why is it being declared against this place? It's because they are going to be a key figure when it comes down to this World War III judgment. They already are in a military conflict that's been going on for the last, I think, 4 to 5 years now. Good Lord, time is flying. The issues between them and Ukraine, which is now leaking over into NATO. Right now, this is a prophecy against him. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws. So when they were looking to try to expand, when they broke down the wall, and all of a sudden now that was the end of communism and all that, the Lord said, no. You're not going to go into any kind of diplomatic changes. You're going to, the Cold Wars, all them things that was ended. The Lord said, you're going back into conflict. You're going back into judgment. You're going to be used as a tool that's going to bring forth judgment on the earth. Hooks in the jaw. So now he's being drugged and he's being pulled as a wild fish that's on the line, and you pull in the back, it's trying to escape. No, you're going to be drawn back in according to the will of the Most High. And it says, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. So this is going to be a military-based conflict. This is what he's going to get pulled into. Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, right? So these are the nations that's also going to be in agreement with them, right? Persia in particular, this is being Iran. Now, drop down and read in verse 7, it says, be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. How are they being a guard? They're being a guard, a protector for Iran. That's why Iran is always, they haven't been scared to engage in this particular conflict with America, because they know who's got their back. They're backed by Iran, and they're backed by Russia. Russia also has the backing of China. You've got India, well, they have known as the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That economic system, that coalition that's been established, in addition to the other countries that have already been joining in. That's why these sanctions that America keep threatening, you don't come over here with us, I'm going to sanction you. They're like, man, please. The sanctions has not been working. Slow Biden was trying to throw out the sanctions down Russia. Orangutan Orange, man, he's throwing out sanctions. Man, nobody scared of them damn sanctions no more. They're ready to break free from the petrodollar. They're getting ready to break free from the dollar being the world reserve currency. The dollar is plunging down the toilet right now. America just had to buy their own bonds back from Japan. And then we talk about that 2-3 weeks ago, or maybe more, when we started discussing about the bonds and all the nations that were buying into America, buying America's debt, and them are now scaling back, saying we're not investing in America's debt no more. Matter of fact, we're going to actually start investing in other means. I said that like 3 weeks ago, and then this week, Japan says, look, we selling off our bonds, man. The bond yields, meaning the yielding or the slowing down of buying American debt. That's how America is being supported. They're running out of places where they can borrow money from. And now America's like, well, maybe we can bail you out. We'll help invest in the yen. That didn't work. Now America ended up saying, well, we'll just buy our own debt back. What happened with that? The stock market went crashing. The inflation went haywire. It's all bad. And now we see here that the other nations, in particular, Russia and Iran, according to prophecy, is being fulfilled as we see that when Russia was in this conflict with Ukraine, Iran was sending them drones, helping them out. But now we're seeing in this particular conflict, Russia being the guard to Iran. How are they doing that? Russia is shipping explosives to Iran to bolster its missile and drone arsenal in the U.S. war. So when did they start doing this? It was already in motion, but notice it's really got headlines right after this 60-day memorandum was over with. Once the ceasefire is over with, oh, guess what came on? Russia's now sending explosives to Iran to, turn up the heat. The Russian shipments, which haven't been previously reported, underscore the deepening strategic alliance between Moscow and Tehran. Oh, okay. Russia is shipping drone components, ammunition, and TNT to Iran through the Caspian Sea, helping Tehran replenish stockpiles, damaging U.S. and Israeli airstrikes, according to a European government document obtained by NBC News and verified by a Western official. So you see what's happening between the nations. Iran, Russia, they're networking. They're sending weapons with each other. America's over here panhandling the Congress saying we need trillions of dollars. We need the budget expanded. We need hundreds of millions of dollars. And the Democrats and all of them is like, we ain't giving y'all no more money. What happened to the last, batch of money we sent you? I thought you said the war was over with. I thought you hear Trump talking about, Iran's, almost defeated. We pretty much wiped them out. We're ready to declare their U.S. territory. As you're begging for more money. Okay, so we can kind of see through the lies, right? Let's continue. Trump punishes South Korea for refusing to join the Iran war. South Korea is an ally of America. He's already jumped down their throat and even tried to turn the tables. It made it look like he's favoring North Korea over South Korea. South Korea shaking their head saying, what the hell is up with this dude? This is why all the nations are sitting back laughing at America and laughing at Trump because, he's willing to glaze whoever he feels is a threat. That's why he hasn't made no moves on North Korea, because North Korea got nukes. Look at it. Trump has ordered the Pentagon to reduce America's joint military exercises with South Korea, but this is not simply about saving money or suddenly deciding North Korea poses no threat. Trump said that North Korea has been unthreatening and respectful toward the United States and argued that the exercises in South Korea are unnecessary and provocative given his relationship with Kim Jong-un. He instructed the Pentagon to, quote, substantially reduce the Ochi Freedom Shield exercises, which began August 17th and were scheduled to involve approximately 18,000 South Korean troops. Trump has opposed these exercises before and suspended major drills after his 2018 summit with Kim. So his objection to them is certainly not new. What's different this time is that he publicly connected his anger towards South Korea to Iran. Yeah, because he was telling them, go help us with the Strait of Hormuz. And South Korea was like, nah, we're cool. You started that. We think you should be able to finish that. We're not getting ready to get involved in that particular conflict. Same way he did with the NATO nations. And it was like, y'all come over here and help me or else. And it was like, what? You started this. We're not doing that. And we see who you're standing up for. The GMO small hats over there, they like, those people over there is evil as hell. But we don't want to be associated with that badness. You jumped in that water, swim. You try to get to South Korea. Are y'all gonna help us? No, Trump-san. Trumpy-san, no. No, that's Japanese. They call each other san. But Korea said, no. And they said, oh, okay, well, guess what? I'm going to start pulling back on military exercises with you, helping you prepare for any particular conflict and backing down North Korea. And I'm going to embrace North Korea because He's got a very good relationship with little bomb man. Remember he called him that? Little bomb man. Kim Jong-un. Let's watch this.
With oil prices climbing higher and talks with Iran going nowhere, President Trump threatened to, quote, bomb the expletive out of U.S. ally Oman.
Look at that. Now he another ally. Another ally. Now he's saying, now he's threatening a whole nother ally. So you're going at South Korea. You're going at Oman. You've gone at NATO. You're wondering why all the nations. Okay, let's y'all know where we should go.
With oil prices climbing higher and talks with Iran going nowhere, President Trump threatened to, quote, bomb the expletive out of U.S. ally Oman if they get in the way of his goals in the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't think they behave very well, but we handle them very easily, just like we do others.
Oman and Iran are currently in talks about setting up a system of transit through the strait. One potential plan would allow both countries to charge a toll. The war has reduced ship traffic in the strait to a standstill, rattling world markets and raising the price.
My bad, y'all. Let me back that up. This damn thing plays as soon as you leave it. Okay, so getting back to Revelation 17. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So NATO, the EU, they're going to come against America, right? They're going to make sure that America burns because of spurned and ruined relationships. America is going to be taken down. Now, reading down at Obadiah in the 7th verse, who's it talking about? Speaking about Edom. Edom, biblically, is a so-called white man for those who haven't heard, right? And his established rulership and dominance upon the earth, headquarters, the leader of the controllers of the earth is America, right? Now, it says, verse 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in them. So it says everybody in their confederacy, even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. So Esau is going to get, and America is going to get stabbed in the back by the people that they trusted. The people that they were in confederate with, i.e. NATO, i.e. the other the nations that all rose up against the children of Israel. Let's just read the first couple, right? This is the confederacy. These are the confederates that came against the children of Israel. This is the coalition of nations that rose up against us. This is the confederacy. Verse 5 of Psalms 83. But they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So remember, Obadiah says, all the men of thy confederacy, they've deceived them. Who's number one? The tabernacles of Edom. So who's the head demon in charge? Who's the dragon? Who's the one with the fangs out? Venom dripping off of each tooth and sucking into all the nations, and all the nations are coming and flowing to them? Edom. Who else? Oh, the Ishmaelites. So Saudi Arabia and the Arabs, they're part of the confederacy. They're going to come against him. Is that not happening now? Sure it is. Of Moab, you see him having problems with South Korea right now, North Korea right now, China right now. You dig what I'm saying? Continued on, it says, then the Hagarenes and Gabal and Ammon. Ammon is a Japanese. They're having issues with them right now over economics. Okay? Just to get to the point, because we got a lot to cover. But the Confederacy is going to turn against them, and now we're seeing some of these things coming to pass because of Trump's diplomatic relations deteriorating worldwide. All praise to the Most High, because that's part of the prophecy. Let's get back over here. We're going to let this play.
With oil prices climbing higher and talks with Iran going nowhere, President Trump threatened to, quote, bomb the expletive out of U.S. ally Oman if they get in the way of his goals in the Strait of Hormuz.
I don't think they behaved very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
Oman and Iran are currently in talks about setting up a system of transit through the strait. One potential plan would allow both countries to charge a toll. The war has reduced ship traffic in the strait to a standstill, rattling world markets and raising the price of gas. On average, Americans are paying over $4 a gallon, up over $1 since the war began. The president insists that the U.S. has full control over the strategic waterway, and even suggests he may soon declare it a U.S. territory. But his own energy secretary says disruptions to ship traffic remain.
We're in a conflict zone right now.
This comes as U.S. military officials are scrambling to respond to a Trump Truth Social post condemning long-planned joint exercises with South Korea. In the post, which blindsided military leaders, Trump cited his, quote, very good relationship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un and called the drills inappropriate and hostile towards North Korea, and said they would be substantially reduced. He also criticized South Korea for not joining the U.S.-led campaign against Iran.
How do you respond to folks who say that you are prioritizing?
Now, you see how he done flipped the script? Now he says, if we keep doing these drills, this is going to be hostile towards North Korea. South Korea is like, yeah, that's the point. Like, we're supposed to, they're our enemies, right? You're supposed to be getting our back against them. When did you start getting along with them? When did you start favoring them over us? Sirach 13, verse 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. So the greater thing is that he knows North Korea got them nukes. North Korea is open for the smoke. North Korea has allegiances with China and with Russia. And he's like, I'm already knee deep in ish. South Korea, you're not worth it right now. When I wanted you to come over here and get involved with this Strait of Hormuz madness, and you said, we're cool. Oh, okay. Well, you're not of my prophet anymore. Let me forsake you. Verse 5. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. So, in typical fashion of colonization and the whole nine, if there's resources, if there's money involved, if there's networking involved, he will get involved, drain it dry, and he will not be sorry for what he leaves in its aftermath. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Oh, you want to continue on with the military drills? Yeah, we got your back. Oh, matter of fact, no, we're going to go ahead and back out. I think that's threatening to North Korea. And South Korea is like, when the hell did you start glazing them? Unbelievable. You can't trust this devil, man. If his mouth is moving, you know he's lying. Let me speed this up. Uh-oh, what happened here?
But his own energy secretary says disruptions to ship traffic remain.
We're in a conflict zone right now.
This comes as U.S. military officials are scrambling to respond to a Trump Truth Social post condemning long-planned joint exercises with South Korea. In the post, which blindsided military leaders, Trump cited his, quote, very good relationship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un and called the drills inappropriate and hostile towards North Korea, and said they would be substantially reduced. He also criticized South Korea for not joining the U.S.-led campaign against Iran.
How do you respond to folks who say that you are prioritizing the interests of adversaries in North Korea over our longtime partners by scaling back military exercises?
I'm making it much safer. You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect.
And this morning, Iran is saying yet again that the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until the United States meets all of its conditions. Iran's parliamentary speaker saying the waterway will not be open until, look at this, George.
Now he says that Kim Jong-un has always treated him with great respect, huh? Great respect. How about this? Right after he told South Korea, we're not going to carry out these military drills no more, Kim Jong-un respects me. What happened? Oh, North Korea launches ballistic missiles as Trump seeks to rekindle nuclear talks with Kim Jong-un. They went to go start having ballistic missile tests and start firing off. They like, what? Oh, you think we cool? No. Let's show them what time it is. We're not stopping our military drills. We're not ceasing from our nuclear power. You crazy? We don't trust you. That's one thing. Okay, damn, these Moabites of North Korea, they realize, Al-Adad put the lesson in last weekend about never trusting your enemy, according to Sirach 12:10. The nations now are learning. You can't trust these people. So Kim Jong-un is like, yeah, y'all can stop your military drills. We're not. See, that's what happens when, Agent Orange Man trusts in the pride of his tongue and pride, his proud tongue, because later in that video he was like, yeah, he respects me. He didn't respect Biden. He didn't respect Obama. Yeah, well, I got a good relationship with him. Really? I can't tell. Because they went back and mocking him, launching ballistic missiles, threatening South Korea. And South Korea's like, see, we told you, God dang it. We gotta keep drilling and practicing. They don't respect you. Proverbs 21:21. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, and righteousness and honor. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. That's what we're trying to do. We scaling. Look, we go up to 12. One of my favorite verses. The righteous man, I'm not going to say one of my favorite verses, but it is a key verse, in particular with DSTM and just overall, when we're on the search and on the hunt for it, trying to understand what's going on in the house of the wicked, what's going on in the house of our enemies, man. So you can study the art of war, right? The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but the Most High overthroweth the wicked for their righteousness. So the Most High is going to always overthrow their wickedness for their wickedness. The judgment's already been written, but you have to wisely consider what's going on in the house. But then we drop down and read in verse 22, it says, a wise man scaleth the city of the mighty. So you're going to be like spiritual Spider-Mans, climbing up that wall, climbing up that city, and climbing up that house, man, so you can infiltrate. You can find out what's going on. You can get the information. You can not only swallow that red pill, but you're actually going to start learning and applying it and opening your eyes up. And you're going to see everything that's going on in the city, everything he's got going on in his house. He's got the big brother, the spy cams and the flock cameras and all that other stuff, but you've got it. We've got it spiritually, because the Most High gave us detailed insight through the scriptures about what's going on in his house. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. So what do? We cast down the strongholds, the lies, the folly that he puts out there, man. We uncover the lies with the truth. That's the confidence, man. That, Revelation 12 speaks about a flood that's going to overtake the woman. What the flood is, the flood of lies. That's the only way that he's been able to sustain, because that's the power, the spirit that the dragon came with. It said he's going to deceive the whole world. In John 8:32, Christ said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So the battle between truth and lies, good, evil, right? Wise man's going to scale up, man, going to, gather intelligence, get everything, and then put it out there, because now that's going to diminish and cast down the strength and the confidence of the house that's built upon lies, deception, destruction, wickedness, murder, you name it. Exposing. Verse 23, Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. Right. Watch what you say. Watch your mouth. Everything ain't got to be spoken on. You ain't always got to. I got to respond. I got something to say. That ain't always the right thing to do, man. Internet has created this whole facade about just because you got a channel, because you got a camera, you got a mic, that you should be able to say whatever you want to say. A lot of people are saying a whole lot of lies and foolishness and folly that don't need to really be heard. You know, people exploiting their lifestyle, their homes, their children, all for a paycheck, for views and acceptance from people, you know, via views. Lord said, whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue, keepeth his soul from troubles. Yeah, because the tongue can actually get you in more trouble than not, if not regulated, monitored, and mastered. Reading on, it says, proud and haughty scorner is his name, who dealeth in proud wrath. Who's that? That's your man, Agent Orange, all day. Proud and haughty, and he's a scorner. This is why how's he scoring? His Truth Social posts. Oh, we're gonna make the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory. We're gonna make Canada a U.S. territory. We're gonna make the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Like, he's constantly scoring. Oh, guess what? We're gonna go take Cuba next. Oh, we're taking Colombia. We're gonna get the bad drug lords in Venezuela. Meanwhile, they just stole all the damn gold and cashed it in. I got that article coming up. Was it Scorner is his name? Oh, all these people that came over here as migrants, they come from whole countries. Remember that? Meanwhile, he had illegal immigrants working for him through his construction companies. Remember that? Oh, then he wants to talk about, how great he is at business with 6 bankruptcies on his record, business bankruptcies, including the casino, where the house is supposed to always win and you come up losing. And now you got the house, as they call America, the house of cards that's folding right now, $40 trillion in debt under his watch, where he was supposed to be making America affordable again, great again. He ain't doing nothing but throwing more lipstick on the pig and perfume, drawing flies to, you know what I'm talking about. Proud and haughty, scorner is his name, who dealeth in proud wrath. Yeah, this is all he's dealing with is proud wrath, right? But we see here, North Korea taunts him after he's talking about how great a relationship he got, right? North Korea fires several short-range ballistic missiles, Seoul's military said Thursday, hours after President Trump said he would meet again with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un later this year. The latest launches by the nuclear-armed North came after Mr. Trump ordered a reduction in the ongoing joint South Korea-U.S. Ochi Freedom Shield military exercises, which is now set to end on Friday. Pyongyang has long condemned U.S.-South Korean exercises as rehearsals for an invasion, often staging missile test launches during and around the drills. Mr. Trump said he made the decision to scale back the war games based on my very good relationship with Kim. He said the long-standing annual military exercises sent a totally inappropriate and hostile signal to the North. When has he ever been concerned about sending the wrong message? He's continually sending wrong messages. Wild. Let's continue. Here you go.
Earlier today, you said North Korea has something like 57 nuclear weapons. They've been expanding their nuclear program. Is your goal in trying to re-engage with Chairman Kim still denuclearization? And what makes you think you could be successful now when you weren't?
Well, I don't want to talk about that, but I do have a good relationship with Kim Jong-un.
I mean, look at this dude's face, man. Do you see his countenance? It's deteriorating. It's looking more scaly, like reptile time. And all I'm saying, he's a reptile. But I know on some of the conspiracy cats out there were talking about where, reptilians is amongst it. That's just from age and over usages of tanning booths and Most High hitting his ass with that damn vitamin D. Right? He's looking wore out. Look at this guy. Let me get a close up, y'all. Hold your breath, y'all. Hold your breath.
As you know, you've seen.
Yikes. If any of y'all got sick, I'm sorry. All right, let me slide it back.
He didn't like Biden. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like anybody, but he likes me, and I just got along with him very good. We had great meetings. We speak, and I think our nation, and I think other nations, frankly, whether it's Japan or South Korea, they're a lot safer if I'm president than if somebody else is president. Now, I didn't like the fact that we're doing these massive military exercises, really against North Korea. It was a exercise against North Korea.
See, that's that proud chatter, man. You talking about a guy, Kim Jong-un, who idolizes and loves Dennis Rodman. I mean, how great of a discernment of character can Kim Jong-un be when he loves Dennis Rodman? And now he's saying he loves me too. Like, what's that mean? Come on. Dennis Rodman, a man who dresses cross-dressed, wearing makeup, painting fingernails, tattoos galore, multiple pierced everywhere, dating white women, adulterer, you name it. His sexuality's been questioned. Kim Jong-un said that Dennis Rodman was his favorite basketball player. He loved Dennis Rodman. Remember some years ago, Dennis Rodman went over there talking about he think he could be, a peace negotiator and a delegate for America. He was going to go over there and stop North Korea from attacking America. About 7-8 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. Dennis Rodman said, I'll go over there. I'll talk to him, man. Kim Jong-un loves me. Remember that? And here he is comparing himself to act like, he's this special person that Kim Jong-un hates everybody except for him. Knock it off.
When I'm friendly with him, I don't see anything happening for certainly 2.5 years. It's not going to happen with me, but I don't see anything happening. And I was not happy when South Korea said, no, they're not interested in helping us with the Hormuz Strait. And yet they get 60% of their oil from the Hormuz Strait. I said, would you like to help us? He said, no, thank you. I said, that's nice. Please. Thank you. He made us a lot of money. I didn't like that. So I felt that we were doing a massive war exercise. I thought that was very insulting to somebody that, frankly, has been, during my term at least, very well behaved.
Yeah, well, there you go. So there's the truth. It ain't got nothing to do with you got a good relationship with Kim Jong-un. You doing it out of spite because South Korea said, no, we're not helping you with the Strait of Hormuz. Period.
Earlier today,
let's move on. Look at this. U.S. is warned of an October surprise from Iran amid harrowing billboards and murals. Tehran could be planning a massive attack to disrupt the November midterms and drive a wedge between Israel and the U.S. A leading defense expert has warned. For anyone who's concerned or wondering what is an October surprise, we'll help you out. It says an October surprise refers to a significant event or revelation that occurs in the month leading up to an election, particularly in the U.S., which has the potential to influence public opinion and the election's outcome. So we know that the November midterms is coming up. Whether this is smoke or not, who knows? But Iran is saying that there could be an October surprise that comes up. It could be anything that disrupts the elections. It could be a cyber attack. It could be an act of war. It could be, who knows how far their reach is, right? Could be some splinter cells, activated over here. It could be smoke and mirrors that is lined up from, the small hats to blame Iran. But they're saying, if we're just going off the headlines, something big could happen in October that could affect the November midterm elections. Now, you got a question. Who's got the most to lose come these November elections? Right now, the Republicans is on the ropes You got some Republicans that's switching up being Democrats now, you know, in the gang world, they call that transforming. I don't know if that's still the term that they use. I know back in my day, the 80s, 90s, they was called, transforming, man. You was from one place, now you went and transform you over to another. That's going on right now in real time, right? You've got Democrats out here looking to take the throne come November, and the Republicans is reeling right now on, moonwalking, trying to gain some ground and hold their feet down, but it's not looking good. And some of the Republicans is jumping ship, turning Democrat. So look at it. The term was popularized during the 1980 president election, where it was described events that could sway voters just before election day. Okay. Now, here you see in the 80s, it says here, the phrase emerged in the 1980s after 52 Americans were kidnapped during the occupation of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran during Iran's Islamic Revolution. The incident dominated the presidential race and between incumbent Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, painting Carter in a bad light. Yeah, because they said that, Jimmy Carter didn't handle that right. He was soft. And what they do, that swayed people to believe in Ronald Reagan more. So when you're looking at who's got more to lose, the Republicans got more to lose. So I can't really see Iran doing something that's going to persuade people to furtherly back them, unless it's something that makes the Republicans act more aggressively, so that the people now think that they have more invested in their safety and everything else, because the Republicans, push the panic button in order to protect their money, their sovereignty, their public health and well-being, or whatever, right? If the Republicans have to do something that makes everybody say, "Shoot, we got to keep them in office. Look what that man, they just saved us from a whole lot." That's the only way that will work. Something that's gonna make the I'm gonna call them Democrats look bad. Maybe that can do something. Who knows what it could be? Like I said, back in the 80s, you're talking about 52 Americans getting kidnapped, and the reaction of Jimmy Carter is what caused everybody to vote and support Ronald Reagan even more. So they're saying this possibly could be a tactic that happens this October. Big midterm election coming up, right? We're gonna find out. Another one that jumped ship. Army Secretary expected to step down by the year's end. Dan Driscoll's plan to leave follows months of tension with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. So we just had Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary. She bounced. Now you got the Army Secretary. He's gone at the end of the year. Whose military is in disarray? Whose military is in having problems? Is it America or is it Iran? What we're being fed is Iran's military is decimated. They got no navy. They got no air force. They all the generals is dead. Remember that was all being fed to us. And we see more of an exodus happening within the American governmental structure than ever. It started with Elon Musk when he, Doge and all that failed and he bounced. And mind you, this is only a year and 8 months into Agent Orange's tenure. Can you imagine? A year and 8 months in, and all hell done broke loose. and this dude still got another 2 years left. 2.5, a little less than 2.5 years left. And you think America's gonna have a prosperous next couple of years at the trajectory that is going in right now? Elder Ross, I always talk about the draining system. You got the water, you unplug it, and that drain gets to swirling and swirling and swirling, and everything's going down. We're in that whirlpool right now. You think all of a sudden something's gonna come in and plug the hole up and everything's gonna be good these last couple of years? No, it's already Insurmountable. You can't stop the free fall. The avalanche is already stopped, man. Your bet, my best bet, is to get behind something stable, cover up, duck, and move out the damn way. And our covering is the laws and the commandments and the shield and the protection of the Most High by Hashem Yahushai. Other than that, you can forget about it. Look at this. Tokenization of H2O. Elites are claiming the world's water supply and plan to trade it. So, when the scriptures say that the earth is being given into the hand of the wicked, they're getting ready to start monopolizing the money. Notice we're already hearing about multiple droughts and drought measures all throughout the world. Now here they come in trying to tokenize water and make it tradable where they can monopolize and profiteer off of the money. Look, the earth is 3/4 base water to land. Natural and quote unquote free resource that's given to us by the Most High. But no. He takes all of that. Now let's get the classic. Job 9. Now notice it said the elites are doing this. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the question is who is controlling the earth? And if you have an identifiable suspect, the Lord said, watch them. They're wicked. And a couple of things, they're going to cover the faces of the judges. And the Lord said, now you're able to compile a composite sketch of, who's doing these things, who covered the faces of the judges, the true judges of the earth are the children of Israel, according to the biblical narrative and the biblical histories and the archaeology, and according to mosaic paintings. Everything shows these people were melanated. Bushy hair, right? The true judges that was given the law, statutes, and commandments. Scriptures even tell you about Adam being from the dust of the ground, being made of the earth. And then you look at the composites of our bodies being similar and being cohesive with many of the minerals and the elements of the earth. You look at the actual earth is brown, right? That's just one thing. The Lord said he's going to cover the face of the, meaning they're going to be covered up and concealed so that you can look at something else and say, oh, those are the judges. Those are the people of the Lord. Also through a judicial system goes by what? Laws. Who was given the laws and the commandments? Even in Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, the Lord said that it was because of the laws, statutes, and commandments that the nations would look and say, this is a wise and understanding people. We have a whole book in the Bible called Judges, all of which came and stemmed from the children of Israel. But who covered them people up? Who covered up them and made a whole controversial lie? And now once we decide that, well, not necessarily we decided, but once the Spirit of the Lord came upon our people, man, and the veil was broken and we started coming back, understanding who we are and claiming back our nationality and our ethnicity and our laws and our commandments, he done flipped that and said, oh, they're a hate group. They're a cult. Those aren't the people. Don't listen to them. That's a more cover up. Now it says the earth has been given to the hand of the wicked. Now, he's done that, right? Now, who also, let's look at Deuteronomy 28 and 48? And then I'm going to get Lamentations. Now, Deuteronomy 28:48 says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst. Hello? And in nakedness and want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That was one of the curses that befell the children of Israel, that we would have to go in pursuit of everything and anything to our enemies. Hunger, thirst, nakedness, doesn't matter. If you say I'm an entrepreneur, I got my own clothing line, that's cool. All praises, good for you. But guess what? You're going to get your business license from your enemy. You're going to get your materials from your enemy. Your sewing machines from your enemy. Your business license from your enemy. You're going to pay taxes to your enemy. Nothing is quote unquote black owned, Hispanic owned. There's no home ownership. Guess what? You can say, look, this is my home. I finally bought my house. Did you really? Did you buy it outright, or are you on a 30-year mortgage plan? That the day that you decide that you can't pay, or you can't pay, or your job, or the way this economic system is, you get laid off, God forbid, and you can't pay that mortgage, guess who's coming back to seize that? The bank says, actually, that's ours. We paid that for you, and you're paying us back with interest. And you fail to make payments, we're going to take that back. And you said, damn, I used to be a homeowner. What? And you said, well, I paid it off. You know, I had a 15-year mortgage, paid mine off, cash. Okay, cool. Are you paying taxes on that? Because the day that you don't, the government says, that's our land. Forget what you put on it. We'll go ahead and take that too. Cold game that we're living in, hunger. You know, we got to go to our enemies for food, clothing, shelter, and even water. Now, watch this. Lamentations. Let me read this in Lamentations 5, I believe. And where is that? Yeah, here we go. Lamentations 5 and the 4th verse. All right. It says, we have drunken our water for money, our wood is sold unto us. This is one of the curses that also befell our people in Babylon. Here we are in spiritual Babylon, and we're also seeing that a natural resource given to us by the Most High, these fresh springs and everything else, that who bottles it up? Oh, Dasani, Arrowhead, Crystal Geyser, whatever, Mountain Valley, they all bottle it up now, selling it to us. The water systems now are so polluted now, you can't even afford to even attempt to drink from these taps. You have to go and get your water, purified water. You go take your 5-gallon jug, take your gallon jugs, you go into the water purification spots to pay for your water there. You go buy your cases of water, it doesn't matter. You're paying for your water. Drinking water for money, right? Look at this. Tokenization, turning life itself into a tradable chip. Chip, mind you, remember, we're talking digital ID, digital prisons, right? They're translating and transforming hardcore assets into digital chips. Now, it says, for those who do not understand tokenization, here's a short and simple explanation. Tokenization means turning something real, like a share of water rights, a measured volume of water from a river or aquifer, or even credits for water that was, quote, saved or recycled, into a digital token or a unique digital certificate that lives on the blockchain. So now, short, I'm not going to read all this for time's sake. Y'all can do some more research on your own. They're getting ready to monopolize the water even greater by turning it into a digitized token that you can trade, that you can buy, that you can invest in. And at the same time, you're still going to have to pay to drink it. You're going to have to pay to acquire it. You name it. You know, that nice little pool that you got in the background, people are going to pay and monopolize it via tokenization and trading it. And it's only amongst the elites. You and me not having access to this. Look, I said I ain't gonna read it all, but I need y'all to really get where I'm coming from. A blockchain is simply a shared digital notebook that many computers keep identical copies at the same time, so that the record of who owns what cannot be secretly changed by any one person or company. That token can then be bought, sold, and traded on markets the same way people trade stocks or other assets. Instead of water simply belonging to the land, the local community, or the people who rely on it, it becomes a financial product that large investors, corporations, and institutions can own fractions of in exchange for profit. The right to use, claim, offset, or trade that water becomes the commodity. So when there's already scarcities of water. I showed y'all the map. We talked about it. The drought that's impacting America, drought that's impacting Europe, the water and the issues going on in Puerto Rico, right? So now that this commodity is becoming more scarce and more necessary, who's going to slide in, monopolize it, and say, we're going to control all of this, buying, selling, profiteering off of it, the right to claim or using it, etc. It is on us. You understand? As you know, they've got I forgot which indigenous tribe it was. I think it was out here though, but they were having a big lawsuit with the water company that Nestle owns. They was digging and getting water on sacred land. The indigenous tribes was tripping. They tried to sue them, and that fell through. They didn't end up getting what they needed out of it. But this is another form of colonization, tokenization, all of the Asians that America Esau uses to maintain control. And it also shows you where the digital ID system and imprisonment is coming. Look at this. Venezuela. UK held gold to be released to US control through foreign audits. So here's proof that the seizing of and the destruction and the invasion of Venezuela had nothing to do with drug running. It was all about the gold, all about the damn oil, right? They ain't no different than when Hernan Cortez and Francisco Pizarro and all the damn conquistadors came over there and they seen cities of gold amongst the Aztecs and the Mayans and said, oh, this is heaven. We're getting ready to steal all of this. Ponce de Leon and all of these cats, they go over there and say, oh, Venezuela's got gold. We're broke over here in America. We need that. The reserves worth over $4 billion will be deposited in a U.S. Treasury account before eventual disbursement to support post-earthquake recovery. Yeah, right. So they're claiming that they took this money that they deposited into the Bank of England. Took this gold, deposited in the Bank of England. They're going to exchange it and cash it in for gold and then use it for earthquake recovery. Ask Haiti how that worked out with America and the UN helping them with earthquake recovery. Ask Jamaica with the hurricane relief that they had over there in St. Elizabeth last year. Billions of dollars supposedly went over there, and they said they've only seen about 2% of that help them get back on track. The rest of the money went to corrupt politicians in folly or never made it over there. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. Enough said. But this also shows you that they took the money and then went and deposited it into a bank in the UK. Come on. You understand? Venezuelan sovereign gold reserves held by the Bank of England are set to be released and placed under U.S. Treasury Department management. Of course. Give them the money. They'll give it to us. We'll know what to do with it. You can't trust the Venezuelans. They don't know what to do with it. We'll regulate it. It's their damn money. It's their gold. Following recent U.S.-backed talks between the acting Delcy Rodriguez government and representatives of the defunct opposition majority parliament elected in 2015, the two sides agreed to work together to secure the unfreezing of the 31 tons of gold worth around $4.3 billion at current prices to support post-earthquake recovery efforts. So this also, this goes to show you, man, America's always got their nose in the goddamn business. You stole their gold, deposited into the Bank of England, then here comes the earthquake. Imagine if there was never no earthquake. Who would be in control of that particular asset? America still would be in control of it. Now you need Delcy Rodriguez. She got to go beg goddamn America to say, the goal that our goal that you're holding over there, do you think you can, help us out with earthquake recovery? We're promised we'll use it for that. And America says, you know what? Let's talk about it. Yeah, I know I stole and took your gold from you. I put it in our accounts. And then when we do get it back, we won't be depositing this into your account. It's going to go to the U.S. Treasury Department for us to manage your money. And we'll make sure we'll give you some money for your earthquake recovery event efforts. And there's multiple witnesses from multiple countries, like I just mentioned, that the plan was supposed to go the same with U.S. recovery efforts, and it ain't never happened. And them countries is worse off than they started. There it goes. Let's move on. Let's also see what's going on, man. Is blowing the trumpet. I pray everybody is listening to these words and trying their best to maintain and keep your head afloat during these economic times. It's going to get worse, y'all. The predatory loan companies is out there right now. Klarna, what's the other one out there? I think it's Aspire. But nonetheless, look at this. Buy now, pay later loans are now being used for utility bills and rent. Now, you know what's interesting about this is all throughout the hood, they used to have these payday loan places where you go, you could go get a loan in advance. As long as you had a job, you go in, get a payday loan, and then you'll pay it back on your next payday with under high interest rates, right? Years after that, it ended up getting exposed that these were like money laundering, illegal things was getting done, and a lot of them was being done by the small hats, was being funded by them, right? So a lot of them places got shut down. So you probably don't see a lot of these payday loan places anymore, physical ones. Sometimes you get them little check cashing places, whatnot. I think they might still do them, but there was a whole little scandal that came out some years ago that shut a lot of them down. But especially in our neighborhoods, Black Hispanic neighborhoods, you will see them places all over the place. Payday loan, right? Now, what they did was they just flipped it and do it digitally online now. So look at this.
Buy now, pay later apps became a popular way for online shoppers to buy products without a credit card. Well, now lenders are offering loans for things such as household bills. Les, I understand that this can come with some risks.
Yeah, and I know the audience is now psyched to see Sam doing Broadway numbers, but I'm going to try and soldier through anyway. Look, these buy now, pay later loans, they can make sense if you're short of cash and you want to pick up a jacket or a pair of shoes.
Now, remember, they were... This is how you know when this is look, we're dealing with supply and demand, right? Now, if this becomes the outlet that everybody is being exposed to, this should give us insight into where the economy of America is, the plight of the people, the desperation that people are in, and all that leads up to famine, civil unrest, uprisings of the people or whatnot, because when you got a hungry population or people get frustrated that their paychecks ain't equaling out to their labor and all of that, and people are tired of being debt slaves, they're going to pressure bust pipes. You understand what I'm saying? So they've been doing buy now, pay later, financing groceries. I mean, we already know you got it for your home loans, everything else, right? Now they're talking about how you can finance your utility bills and your rent. So that means people are unable to pay for groceries, unable to pay their utility bills, and now unable to pay their rent. So if we flash back into the times of Egypt and under Joseph, and you remember the 7 years of plenty, the 7 years of famine, Joseph stored up, Joseph was prepared, right? Egypt was ready to rock. Then it said, when the famine hit, all the nations came through, they started buying their grain. When the money ran dry, they had to sell, they were selling their livestock for grain and for food. When that got low, they had to sell their land. When they had nothing left, they had to sell themselves into bondage and captivity. Mortgage their livelihood. So, in other words, that's the blueprint of a debt slave. Like America is running this game where it's like, as long as you owe me, I'll never be broke. But let's keep tightening up the noose so that people are kicking and screaming, saying, help, help, help. And they say, oh, you need help? Here, I can help you. Take this with this insurmountable amount of interest, and you constantly stay in the loop. And everybody got to do what you got to do to survive. I'm not telling nobody not to, but just know that it's a trap and it's planned. And I remember when I first started going to school, Professor Johnny Scott, I'll never forget the brother. Instead of indoctrinating people with, and he was a Jake out of Watts. Instead of automatically starting hitting everybody that first week or two with, school curriculum and all that, he was focusing on building up the mentality and preparing, his students was, primarily black, because he was in the black they call it Black Education Studies or whatever, Pan-African Studies department. He was concerned about making sure that Jakes didn't fall by the wayside once you got into this whole little college life. And he did a whole little series about the credit card trap. And it was enlightening, because even though I got the information, I still fell in the trap, as a young man, and then got credit cards and got in debt and the whole nine. It's almost unavoidable, but using wisdom and trying to figure it out, you get older, you figure out, okay, nah, I see what they're doing. But they're opening up the gates even wider for this to happen. So I don't want to delay this no more. I'm gonna play some more of this video, and y'all will see how bad it is for everybody.
There's something else that catches your eye in a boutique. They're designed for impulse purchases. But with consumers now living paycheck to paycheck so frequently, the buy now, pay later industry recognizes that as an opportunity. They're now pitching their short-term loans as an effective way of handling everything from utility bills to paying the rent. In fact, healthcare providers are also increasingly allowing patients to pay their bills with buy now, pay later loans. So one industry analyst says these expanded uses for the loans reflect a new role for buy now, pay later as, in her words, working capital for the modern middle class. Yeah, okay, that's one way of putting it. Another is it's creating new pathways to debt traps. Buy now, pay later loans traditionally charge no interest if you pay them off on time. But if you fall behind, and this is where it starts getting a little hinky, late fees can be imposed, and your credit score can be hit, and interest can come out, and bank overdraft fees can kick in. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, all of that suddenly becomes an impediment to getting ahead of your obligations. So these loans are especially troublesome as they become a vehicle for paying routine bills, such as your utility bill or your housing costs. And how big a deal are buy now, pay later loans? Well, last year, these loans were used for $160 billion worth of transactions. That is nearly double the amount of just 2 years earlier. Sure. That's how fast this industry is growing.
Yeah. I'm of two minds. On the one hand, I can see obviously how this is just another debt trap, right? If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be.
So that's to tell you something that is only getting worse. It said this is double than what it was 2 years ago. $160 billion that people are needing loans for basic necessities, from utilities, gas, food, you know, and the trap is, oh, no interest as long as you pay it off on time. But they know that you probably got, not you in particular, but the individual may have multiple loans out, maybe behind on some other bills. The chances are you being able to fully pay that off, you might get it around the first go round, second go round, but something's gonna happen to where you can't pay it back. Boom, there it go. The interest rates, everything comes in, the credit reports, your life is ruined because you needed some help. Here comes a loan shark popping out saying, "Oh, I'm hungry." So this is the state of affairs that's happening in America. As we continually say, man, America is on a downslope, right? So if we see America $40 trillion in debt, what are the people? You understand? Which only means that things is going to get even more hectic, more worse, more desperate as we continue on. Let's move on to another story. Look, U.S. debt crisis will directly harm families, students, and retirees. As we've been talking about, look, the debt is already larger than the entire U.S. economy, the highest in history, except for the years immediately following World War II, and will hit roughly 120% of GDP within the next decade if the government fails to rein in deficit spending. If that spending continues as projected, an incoming college student, listen to this, an incoming college student, if things stay the way that they are or continually get worse, if you've got a student that enrolls in college in 2028, taking out an inflation-adjusted average student loan of $45,000. Loan comes in for $45,000 for you to go to school. That $45,000 is put on a 10-year payment plan. $45,000 will turn into almost $280,000 once it's finally paid back. That is insane. That's how inflation of the dollar has affected this place. You take a loan out for $45,000, and in 10 years, through the interest and the inflation of that dollar depreciating, you actually end up paying back almost $280,000. Do you think that America can be sustained in this economy under those type of terms? Look at this. Under an extreme interest shock scenario similar to the economic conditions in the 1980s, the student would owe $466,303 for the $45,000 loan. For a family of four saving up to buy a home in 5 years, a standard 30-year fixed rate mortgage and a 20% down payment on a $600,000 house will ultimately cost them $2.8 million. You might as well round that up to $2.9 million. Did you hear that? 30-year mortgage, sale cost of $600,000. By the time you pay it back, you've paid $2.9 million. That's over twice the cost. Under an extreme interest shock, that price tag jumps to $3.6 million. For the interest, inflation, etc. Can you imagine? How is that sustainable? How are people going to try to expect to live in this place? And they're running around talking about, being a homeowner in the future. Is it worth it, or you might as well just stay renting? Or you can kind of sympathize and understand why people are like, you know what, I'm going to go live in my trailer. I'm going to go live in my car. You cannot survive with this foolishness, man. There is no future in this place. Look at it. Future retirees already face a grim outlook for Social Security payments, with trust fund insolvency projected to occur by 2032. But in 8 years, they're saying that, look, Social Security could be gone. That will trigger a 24% across-the-board benefit cut unless Congress sharply increases payroll taxes or cuts deficit spending by $2.7 trillion between 2032 and 2036. They can't cut $2.7 trillion in spending. They owe $40 trillion right now. They've done enough budget cuts. Where's all the money at from Doge? I thought they saved trillions of dollars from that. Where is that at? Where's the money at that happened from the tariffs? Oh, that didn't work out? Oh, okay. This is why the title of the class is what it is. Look at this Tyson plant. Closed.
A massive development in Joslin, Illinois, where the hundreds of cars you see now on your screen were people who found out that their jobs at the Tyson plant were gone. That breaking coverage tops your news at 10 tonight. Good evening, I'm William Ingalls. The Tyson facility in Joslin is shutting down, leaving more than 2,500 people scrambling. This is the letter those workers got this afternoon confirming the plant's permanent closure. Workers will get paid for the next 2 months, but the job some have leaned on for years is gone. The Tyson Foods plant is located in Joslin. That plant began operations in 1983 under the ownership of Iowa Beef Processors. You can tell by the map, it was a central part to the local and regional economy. But why is a company that's called the area home for so long closing its doors with next to no notice? Well, the breadcrumbs were public as of about 10 days ago on the company's earnings call. Tyson told shareholders they expect losses around $650 million.
Now, you see that? It said with next to no notice. Man, can you imagine? You waking up, you throwing on your uniform, you throwing on your hairnet, and you ready to go to the plant. Going there for 20 years, right? And you come into the office and they're like, hey, everybody gather around, got a meeting. Everybody's like, what's going on? Yeah, we're closing the plant down. All 2,500 of y'all are gone. Been a good run. Hey, don't worry, we're gonna take care of you guys. Gonna get 2 months severance pay, but after that, good luck. Yeah, the future where the jobs, they're not out there. So after that 2 months is up, go, file for unemployment that's already getting drained because there's millions and millions and millions of people on, unemployment. The job market is drying up. Ghost jobs is out here tricking niggas, thinking there's jobs out there and ain't no jobs. Join the rest of the thousands and thousands and thousands who've been laid off, from Amazon to Microsoft to all these other, corporations that's been shutting down. Another attack on the food systems. I'm not saying Tyson is healthy and the best, but hey, look, if it's lawful and your pockets can afford it, I can't knock you, whatever. But that's getting shut down. You've got the farmers, the beef farmers, they're getting slapped in the face because, Agent Orange got this deal with Argentina to import the beef. So the farmers is over here like, what the hell? You're not giving us nothing that we can sustain. So you got the war jumping off, the fertilizer's already hitting you, the diesel fuel's already hitting you. Then they dropping boxes of ticks all over the damn place to take out your livestock. Oh, and the screw worms. Oh, we got those over there for you too. Completely decimating, the food supplies over here, so that Bill Gates can pop up with his, farmland full of GMOs and snake oil salesmen with poop water and everything else, telling you this is the new way. There you go. Shutting down these places. Spur of the moment. You're out of here. 2,500, man. Tyson, gone. Illinois.
This fiscal year in its beef processing sector alone. Company officials
But you see economically, man, what's going on. And now, fair use. Y'all can see fair use. This video is being played for commentary, teaching, news reporting, etc. Right? This is I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Elysium. If you haven't seen Elysium, it's a good movie to watch. This is another one of those post-apocalyptic future type movies where all of the poor folks is living on Earth, and the elites are living on a on a space station type oasis called Elysium, where they've got all the technologies for healing. They're living on the plush landscapes. They got the mansions and the pools and the best of food and everything else. And blacks and Hispanics is living in ghettos and slums, scrapping and fighting to survive. And they're trying to, escape and get up to Elysium. So if you haven't seen this, it's a good movie. But this is a movie clip I want to show you because it's another part of art imitating life.
Damn, man! Got it! He's reloading!
Now, if anybody's seen this movie, in this particular scene, they're trying to kidnap this elite that's trying to get back to. He's trying to get back to Elysium. They need the codes and they need the information that he's got so that they can get up to Elysium. And the elite guy, he's got this robot that's defending him. So they're trying to hijack him and bust into his little space pod to get to the elite, but he's got some robots defending, humanoid type robots. All right, so that's all I'm gonna play with that because even though this is on YouTube, somebody got this on YouTube. Movie Clips is the channel. I don't want them to be like, "Oh, you're using this." No. So it's fair use, right? The point of the matter is that this is in effect right now, or not in effect, but it's on its way, right? Look, humanoid war robots could soon patrol the U.S. southern border to combat weaponized migrant flows. If you see the video of these humanoid robots, some of them are already, some of the videos are AI, but they look just like the ones we just seen in Elysium. They already are building and have the proposals already set up. The manufacturing is complete to have humanoid war robots patrolling the borders. Now, if they're patrolling the borders, those little robots that you see rolling around in the park and making little deliveries on the streets, they can easily be replaced now with legitimized humanoid robots on the streets, right? The robot's not going to need no pension. The robot's not going to need no brakes. The robot's not going to question authority. The robots that don't need to eat nothing. So even those jobs, border patrol, police, those can be easily and will be replaced. Okay. Building on our February theme that physical AI and humanoid robots would move beyond factory floors and folding laundry in homes into conflict zones and other high-risk environments, U.S.-based Foundation Robotics is now discussing potential national security deployments of its Phantom humanoid robot along the southern border. Fox News, so this is not, some alternative BS. Fox News reporters spoke with CEO Sanket Pathak, who said the U.S.-based startup, which develops humanoid robots for industrial and military applications, has already demonstrated the capabilities of its Phantom Mk1 robots to the Department of Homeland Security for border deployment. We're in conversations with almost all national security government bodies. Did you hear that? We're in conversations with almost all national security government bodies. So Air Force, Navy, Army, DHS, Pathak said, we continue to have dialogues. We're starting to negotiate contracts and some applications for them. I'm going to stop there. Lead is there because this is something y'all need to meditate on, do further research on it. Look, check on YouTube. You're going to see some of the videos of these robots, what they look like. They look like just like the damn ones from Elysium. Got more to cover. Right, so they got the drones prepared. They got the humanoid robots ready to rock. digitized system, the whole nine, right? It's all here. Let's move on. Another earthquake. Let's not forget. We've been seeing massive earthquakes every week. There was a 6.7 in Peru this past Thursday. So earthquakes in diverse places, that prophecy is continuing on, right? Let's continue. This is important too. I'm sure everybody's been noticing now, I think 11 days now. People in Indiana in particular, Gary, Indiana, home of Michael Jackson and all of that, has been without power. Just when I got this article, it was 9 days. It's up to now 11 days.
So that I'm not walking into the dark. I have them in my car. This one is out because it's been
Gary,
absolutely
Indiana,
horrible.
one of the it's one of the more lower income cities in America, mostly inhabited by all Israel. Crime ridden, the whole nine, right? And Northern Illinois, they all got hit. They're all still powerless. But Gary, Indiana, you starting to see a lot of Jakes on the internet voicing their frustrations with what's going on. Now, notice the sister says she's in survival mode, but I'm gonna let this play, and I won't interrupt.
We don't have service in this area at all whatsoever. At night, the streets, the roads, everything is pitch black besides the lights from the cars. When it first happened, there was no gas stations open. It was water all in my bedroom because my room is in the lower level of my home. The water came through the garage, came up into my laundry room and spread throughout the lower level of my home. Had to throw everything out, but it already started. I have two fridges. I have one in the garage and then my main one upstairs in the kitchen. I've had to throw away pretty much everything. So at night we're sweating, we're irritable. We have children to look out for, elderly people who needs electricity. This is the second week now. So, we can be used to it, but it's not okay for us to be used to it. It's not okay for us to continually be in survival mode.
Tender mercy. We thank you for everyone that is here. We thank you for those who will be helped. And we thank you for the volunteers, those who are here.
And we thrive best, as humans, on certainty and predictability. So for something so devastating to happen so quickly and people not really be able to prepare, it definitely takes a toll on people mentally, just kind of not know what's coming next, where the next meal is going to come from. And so the city of Gary has opened up the City Life Center to be able to provide a shelter for people who are looking for a safe haven, looking for a hot meal. So, we need to have...
Now, the problem I have with this, I'm glad to see that brothers and sisters are pulling together and trying to help each other. That's great. The problem I have with what the sister just said is she said they didn't have time to prepare, as if there was not multiple news reports speaking about tornadoes and storms are going to be hitting the Midwest. They were feeling as though we'll be okay. It may not be that bad. Might be down for a day or two. Can you afford to rely on your own wisdom or your own reasoning or past histories to just say, we've been here before, we'll get through it again? You can't say we didn't know or didn't have time to prepare. Now, I get it. Economic resources are what they are, right? But at the same time, for years on, and listen, Israel, I apologize. I promise you, through the will of the Most High willing, I will try my best to cover and show some more examples about preparation. I know that that's been asked about. Brother just been juggling a whole lot of things, and then even having organized and get the setups and everything together. It takes a little hot second, but bear with me. I'm going to work on it. Because I know, and even still, y'all ain't got to rely on me. Yeah, there's so many people that's on the internet, on YouTube and all that, talking about preparedness. Really, Jake ain't got no excuse. But if brothers and sisters want to hold me accountable and say, hey, brother, you supposed to do preparedness that week, I'll take that. I'll take that, and y'all are right. But know what happens personally, what's going on in brothers' lives and all that. Sometimes it might slip my mind, might not remember, or might just have to start, organizing everything to try to get some things together. So, but that is upcoming. I'm consciously thinking about it, gonna do it, especially with what's going on with this thing in Indiana, because our people just not listening and don't pay attention and aren't preparing themselves at all. And I say that to even Israel and the truth. You tell it, Jake and the truth, tell him, hey man, you better prepare. Man, the Most High got us. I'm faithful. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. You know how many, Jake, when COVID was jumping off, that was not prepared, wasn't even thinking about it, scrambling around, making phone calls for toilet paper, making phone calls because they can't get to the store for water. Hey, brother, you got anything? Hey, man, help. Man, I lost my job. I don't know what to do. Family starved me. You got something? Like, that man, my job threatening me with a shot. Can you give me a letter? It's like, yeah, we're definitely going to always be there to help. But I've been telling you, get ready, prepare yourself, have a little something prepared or stored up so that you're not in this particular mode where you're doing stuff like this. No, they're saying her video is unavailable. What's going on? Let's check this one out.
Northwest Indiana tonight, tens of thousands of people are still without power, some of them now filing a class action lawsuit against their utility company, Northern Indiana Public Service Company. The suit claims that that company did not properly manage vegetation in and around power lines. More than 30,000 customers in Gary and other nearby cities have been without power for more than a week now, and they are not expected to get it back.
Now, you see this? They wait for this to jump off to say, oh, well, we're going to do a class action lawsuit because you got too much vegetation around the power plants. Y'all didn't notice this all this time? But now when ish hits the fan, oh, we got to sue them because we're mad that they won't get our power back on. If the power went back on after a day or two, they wouldn't be suing about the brush and whatever else is going on by the power lines. They mad because they ain't got no power. But that's what happens when you got to rely on the government, you got to rely on the state, you got to rely on the people to try to help get you by. And when they ain't moving fast enough, everybody pointing the blame and wants something out the deal. You listen, we cannot rely on them to do it. Ronald Reagan said the 9 most deadliest words is, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Like, if you're waiting for them to come and help you, said, man, expect danger, expect problems. They've got one of these sisters, I don't know if it was a sister that they said her video is unavailable now. I guess she must have took it off, or somebody took it off of YouTube. But one of them, they were talking about the white communities over in Northern Illinois. They're pulling together. They got their resources, all the other stuff. If you remember, last week, there was a white woman that said that she was running from gas station to gas station so she can power up, get gas for her generator and her neighbors. And, she was running into problems. See, they're pulling together, they're resourcing, they're surviving. Now, the sister, unfortunately, I don't have her video, but she was saying, how come they not doing that with us? They always look down on us like, oh, Gary is full of crime, da, 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 da. Yeah, you stop relying on Esau to freaking help you. Esau, when this hits the fan, which we're seeing right now, as the scriptures say, everybody's going to resort to their own nation. Now, that may not be the rule of thumb. You may have some white people help you, or whatever the case may be, but don't rely on it. Black folks should already be over there networking, and they probably are trying to. I'm not stroking with a broad brush. I'm only going off the few testimonies and videos that I've seen, but we do see for sure tens of thousands of people still without power, primarily in Gary, Indiana, where most of our people is at. They're over there struggling and don't know what to do. Had to throw away all their food because they didn't have a source of power to keep their refrigerators on. Running around with flashlights and don't have no batteries, and you ain't got the gas to get to the store to get more battery. Like, come on. You can tell our people till you blue in the face. Get ready. It's going to get back. Get ready. Something's going to happen. Get ready just in case. And our people, especially in the truth, they be thinking like we talking about saving ourselves from the impending judgment of America. No. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's for times like these. It's for times that you might lose your job. It's for times that, most God forbid, you get injured at work and you can't go to work and you're on disability. You're only getting 2/3 of your check, but you still got to make sure that the house stays in order. And you might have to, reduce using your regular energy power and use an alternative source, like instead of that, the money Jakes was getting from PPP loans and Biden stimuluses and all the other stuff and running around buying eighths of weed and renting cars and buying jewelry and scamming each other and going on vacations. And, it should have been buying, USB lights, buying a generator, buying some storable foods, getting a safe, that's waterproof, making sure you got some things to protect your household and your families, because they already been talking about in Gary, Indiana, man. People are breaking into homes. People is over there, worried about their life because it's pitch black. Nope. Like the sister said, it's pitch black in the streets, pitch black in the neighborhoods. You got to be able to defend your household. When people are starving and running up in there and thinking you got something, like the scriptures say, that's what's going to end up happening. But our people don't want to listen. Like I said, in the truth and out the truth.
Until Tuesday, people there frustrated, understandably, and literally in the dark tonight.
I mean, this just shows that no one's immune. We have another empty refrigerator. I've got candles that I'll light up, and then some sensor lights that we use when we come inside the house.
The outages there began after severe storms earlier this month that killed at least 7 people.
So brother has as much, whatever he could have gotten or whatever he had. I mean, fortunately, he at least has some candles. But, we have to be more keen about, and like, what's the name? Kohath put in it, Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge being the stability of thy time. We got to be a lot more wiser, man, and have the knowledge behind that wisdom to execute when, stability is needed. And the brother looks intelligent, he look like, but it's different for, let's say, for instance, California is a little different. We get hit with that earthquake, it's sudden. You can't prepare for that. I don't give a damn if now they're giving us these alerts on the phone saying earthquake's happening. Within seconds, the earthquake is here. It's not like you getting it 5 minutes in advance or not. You get that alert, earthquake is gonna happen, before you know it, 30 seconds later, you start feeling the shaking. Like that, you don't have time to prepare unless you're already prepared. If I'm down south, Midwest, East Coast, and they talking about hurricane such and such is coming, is expected to hit by Thursday, and I don't do anything about it, or I'm just like, you know what, we'll be okay. They always talking about that earthquake. Listen, as they say, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Take this for what it's worth, y'all. I pray that everybody is using these examples, because the scriptures say the things that were done aforetime were for our learning. Don't take things for granted. If you got a little extra money, look, you got $10, man. Instead of going and buying, the Whopper combo, take that $10, man, and go buy you 5 gallons of water from the dollar store or whatever, and get you 3 cans of food, and just stash that for a minute and then work on building that together. It don't take a lot, but it takes some wisdom. It takes some knowledge. Well, we'll talk about water storage and everything else as we move on, right? But the Most High is only going to show us so many examples before it's knocking on all of our doors. And I ain't saying I'm prepared for anything and everything, but Most High willing, through the faith and the spirit of the Most High, me and mine will be okay until we got to move to whatever the calamity, happens. One thing for sure, two things for certain: calamity is going to happen to America. Period. One way or the other, things is going to happen. They talking about over here on the West Coast, the San Andreas fault lines is ready to rock. That could be what hits us. You got fires. You got droughts. You got rationing of power because of the grid being under pressure, from all of this heat and things that everybody's been dealing with. There could be rolling blackout. I mean, you never know. So we'll talk about all those other things. Like I said, most I will in the near future. I'm gonna try my best to get some examples and show and prove in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. But this is why
Northwest Indiana.
Look, they're talking about more storms is coming.
Good evening, I'm Whit Johnson in for David tonight. We begin with the new tornado threats and severe thunderstorm watches moving from the Midwest to the Carolinas and along the deep south, millions in the path. Multiple tornadoes touching down over the last 24 hours. A tornado just outside New York City hitting a beach club with 100 people inside. Another tornado ripping off the roof of a hotel in Delaware.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you get advance notice. They saying it's coming. So you can't be in these particular areas and pathways and say we didn't have enough time to prepare. We didn't know. Now bump that. If I ain't got it, now I'll go into debt. You understand what I'm saying? If I ain't got the bread, oh well, yeah, I'll use my credit card. I'll use whatever so I can get this stuff in order, because it could be even worse trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together when you could have some stuff set up already. New storms moving in after rare northeast tornadoes are hitting. So there's even more that's been hitting.
Heavy rain and possible flash flooding returning to the Northeast this weekend. And late today, a new tropical storm taking aim at the Hawaiian Islands. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. But first, ABC's Morgan Norwood leads us off.
Tonight, towering waterspouts storming beaches around New York City. A damaging tornado touching down in Delaware.
So I'm gonna stop that one there. Y'all can double back and check out these other videos on your own just for time's sake. But you see here, the new storms are moving in. So you got tornadoes, you got more storms, you got heat waves, you got droughts, you name it. So why would we not be wise and say, you know what? I want to make sure that, I can sustain in the event something go down, even if it's just for a week. It's best if you have, can get by for a number of weeks. Most survivalists or the government will tell you at least have 72 hours worth of provisions. At least have 3 days worth, in hopes of them coming to the door and saying, hey, you guys all right? We can come in and help you now. 3 days ain't enough to keep it real. But, according to them, they say you got at least be prepared to survive for 72 hours. If you ain't even got that much, get back to it and really start reassessing, man.
Widespread destruction.
Look at this. Because this is what's happening or what's going to be happening when all hell breaks loose.
At around 3:30
6:30 Saturday morning, you can see the sparks fly as someone cuts through the
Imagine
locks
this
to get in
your
the
front
store
door.
here. Several
This
people
is a
in
store,
masks
though.
waiting to get inside. The sheriff's department says 30 to 40 unknown suspects entered the business and ransacked the property.
They came here, broke our windows, broke our gate, destroyed the place, broke my counters, our beer doors, our lottery machine, our cash register, took all our inventory.
This all stemmed from a street takeover that was happening at the corner of Somerset and Bellflower around the same time. Sheriffs say there were more than 100 cars stopped in the intersection and street. Deputies say the looting lasted about 2 minutes before the suspects exited and blended in with the street takeover crowd.
It was heartbreaking. It was like so shocking. It's like, it doesn't even feel real. Like it's happening to you. You'll see this on the media. You'll see this other places. But when it happens to you, it's like, and everything you've built over the years, it's just very hard.
You can see people taking items off the racks, standing on the counters, and at one point jumping on them in order to break them and take what was inside. The owner says their alarm system alerts them when anyone is in front of the store after 12:30. So they got the notification and called the police before looting even started. But by the time sheriffs arrived, everyone was gone.
8 years ago, they used to do their little takeovers, come into the store, buy some things, and like enjoy their day, relax, chilling. Nowadays, it's just looting, this bunch of bums, not having any jobs, not wanting to do anything with their life, and just targeting other people.
So you see what he said. He said 8 years ago, when they do these little street takeovers, and for those who ain't out here, street takeovers, man, it's like a little car show, man. They shut, these Jays come in here, they bring their cars out, they shut down the streets, they doing donuts, they hanging out, they doing some foolishness, right? And he said they used to come in and buy and all of that. Now that whole spirit done turned. Now they done broke down the door, robbed the whole place. Same ones that used to spend money, now they ain't spending money, they taking. So keep that in mind. That's the spirit. That's what's changing now. That's the paradigm shift is people ain't trying to spend that money no more, or ain't got it, or just a spirit of evil. Remember the scriptures say the perilous times are going to come. Men's going to be lovers of their own selves. The love of many is waxing cold because iniquity is abounded. Right? So it's not just going to be the liquor stores. They come into homes. Thus saith the Lord. Masked up in the whole nine, shiested up, coming and get something. So the spirit is already out there, the spirit is already there. We got to be prepared and know what time it is, right? So take heed to those words, take heed to some of the videos. Like I said, brothers and sisters out there, and Gary, is a prime example. Like if you're in that situation where you're like, damn, if I hit over here, I'd be just like them. Start making moves to do something about it. Don't know where to start. Look up there's videos on YouTube tell you how to start your own, a small prep and pantry. How to, create a bug out bag. There's all kind of stuff that's out there. If you you saying, hey man, IQ taking too damn long. I was waiting for him but I got to do what I got to do. Do what you got to do. But like I said, I'll make it a goal of mine to make sure that I get some things published and put on out there for brothers and sisters. I was always hesitant about doing stuff because I was like, man, I don't want everybody knowing what I got. I don't want Esau know. But sometimes the voice of the people or the help of the people comes at a sacrifice of my own comfortability and my family's comfortability. If it means helping somebody else get themselves in order. So I had to come to grips with that, and I'm gonna work on it. But nonetheless, the information is still available. Like y'all ain't gotta wait for me. You can add on when I, get mine, or I'll die, get your stuff together. But it's there. Nobody got any excuses when it's really, understood. All right. We're seeing what happened with the humanoid robots getting out to the border. The U.S. is deporting 2,000 Mexicans to Guatemala, despite Mexico's objections. So they getting people up out of here. You know, they had like, what they say, 450,000 Haitians. They getting up out of here. They just sent out almost 170 Haitians, got them up out of here. They got steady flow of planes going out. They're still deporting. I told you, ICE is getting back active again. Electric shock gloves and all. That's going on, right? And then if you don't like it, by the time they try to get back over there, humanoid robots is patrolling the border for orders to shoot to kill, you know. Grocery store closures, grocery outlet. This caught my eye because I go to a grocery outlet. I had to go to the one in Inglewood, or I go to the one in Compton. And they were talking about nine of the stores is closing in California. I was like, damn, I wonder if it's going to hit one of the ones that we own. And I believe the one in Inglewood is owned by Jake. At least it was when they first opened up. I don't know about the one in Compton. But nonetheless, grocery outlet, if, anybody frequents those, they're closed. And in some of these communities, man, it's creating more food deserts because that could have been their local grocery store that could be getting shut down, and now they got to travel out elsewhere to try to find, food. The bargain supermarket chain has closed at least 40 locations this year, with states including California, Maryland, and Ohio being the hardest hit. Yeah, I think they said 9, like I said, 9 in California. So back in March, discount grocery chain, Grocery Outlet Bargain Market announced plans to close 36 underperforming locations. The store closures are part of a broader restructuring aimed at strengthening its long-term profitability and optimizing its existing store footprint, right? So we see what's happening here. Underperforming, meaning people ain't got the money, they ain't making the money, they shut them down. They did say that they opened up, I think, 17 more. So, they're kind of strategically trying to pop up where they making money. But some of these areas, people is losing access to food now, A couple more before we get up out of here, man. Look, Tacoma's Park's new stop sign cameras are being issuing warnings. So not only are we talking about the fly cameras, but up in Washington State, they've got stop sign cameras now. Drivers who fail to stop at designated intersections at Tacoma Park in Maryland, I'm thinking Tacoma, Washington, in Maryland, will receive warnings from the city's automated stop sign camera program starting Monday, with fines beginning September 16th. The city of Tacoma Park said the 4-year program, which began earlier this year, targets school zones and aims to, quote, enhance pedestrian safety as part of the city's commitment to Maryland's Zero Deaths campaign and Montgomery County's Vision Zero initiative. If you believe that that's all that this is about, is creating safe school zones. And I'd like to see the hit and run rates or the unaliving rates from car accidents in these particular city zones. Maybe it's high. I'm not sure. I haven't seen. But the greatest story is stop signs now are having cameras on them, regulating and watching everything. You got massive blowback with the flock cameras. People in the uproar, they're not with it. Tracking and the tracing. So this is uproars of the people. People are fighting back against the flock cameras. They're fighting against the data centers. The healthcare system. People is in the uproar right now. But that's what the scripture says is going to end up happening, right? I'm not going to read into this too much longer. Why? Is because I want y'all to see this last video on why the flock cameras are flawed and how they setting up people. Look at this.
Hey, put your hands up and walk back to me. Anybody else in the car?
My daughter and my son.
Oh, how old are they?
My daughter, my daughter, my girlfriend, my son.
Okay.
My son, nobody, a month and a half. My girlfriend, she's 28.
Bye-bye. The reason I'm stopping you is your plate stolen.
You said it's who?
It's coming back stolen. Your license plate. You got your ID on you, boss?
Yeah, I got more wallet.
Where's your wallet at?
My pocket. It's not my vehicle.
Whose vehicle is
It's
it?
my girlfriend's vehicle.
Okay. Just right now, you're just gonna be clean, okay? More people in the car.
Now notice, gun out. If y'all didn't hear well, the brother, they told the brother, put your hands in the air, come back, right? Now you got, he told him, he said, anybody else in the car? He said, it's my month-and-a-half-old baby and my girlfriend. Now he says, okay, why'd you pull me over? Did your plates are coming up stolen? So you already see the aggressive nature, how they approaching and dealing with the Jake. Jake is calm. He's not tripping. He says, not my car. They said, whose is it? It's your girlfriend's. Now they've already got him cuffed and detained. He's going back with a gun aimed at the car, which was, he was already told, there's a month-and-a-half-year-old baby in the car and the mother.
You said a month and a half old in the car? Come back over here, okay? You're just detained until we figure everything out, okay? No weapons on you?
No, none of this. I got her keys in my pocket though for the trip. So.
Can I ask what's going on?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Just 1 second.
Can you confirm your 28?
I know you got a small baby.
214, same vibe. The car was showing up as stolen, so we're just confirming.
Oh shit! No, this is my car.
Yeah, it might be a mix-up in the system, so if it is, then y'all will be good to go.
No, this is my car. I just had it stored because it's been wrecked. I had to get new tires and stuff on it. The snow, it's been put up.
Okay. Hopefully
Notice when you're talking to the white woman, oh, everything, oh, it might be a mistake. Don't worry about it. You know, you didn't say that to the brother. And this is a clear contrast. You know, even though he got a little snow bunny and he's tripping, he don't know no better right now. So I ain't gonna chop his head off for it. But yeah, thank you, Al-Kabar. You seen the white woman come out. Oh, the plate came up stolen. What? This is my car. Oh, I know. It might be a mistake. Calm down. The brother is, hey, anybody else in the car? Come over here. Hands up. Da, 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 da.
that's the case, he's just going to confirm.
Oh my God.
I just heard over the radio and he was out there, and so.
Actually, sure was like he cut his lights on. I said, who cut his lights on? I didn't even know there was a police behind us.
I was en route, and they said it was stolen out of Little Rock, so.
Your license good, boss? Is your license good?
Like I said, he's going to do his due diligence.
I got my registration and stuff in there if you want
Is it in the glove box?
It's actually in my purse.
Okay. You mind if I go ahead you mind if I grab that real quick?
I don't care. It's the pink MK purse.
The pink one? Oh, my bad. I got you.
So can you see that tag in front of you? APX55X. So APX5.
So cordial, so nice, explanations galore. He's even talking like, yes, it's probably some BS, but we gotta do it anyway. Sorry, ma'am. Unbelievable. But let's see what we're talking about now.
5Y is the one stolen. So it's not yours. You flagged one of our cameras, and so that's why we stopped you, because we thought it was the other place. So give me 1 second, I'll get you out of cuffs. Okay, boss. Here, hold on. You see that tag in front of you? APX55X. So APX55Y is the one stolen. So it's not yours. You flagged one of our cameras, and so that's why we stopped you, because we thought it was the other place. So give me 1 second, I'll get you out of cuffs. Okay, boss. Here, hold on. Is it your car? Okay. So your car flagged on some of our modern technology.
So do I need to contact somebody about it? Or?
No, your plate is not stolen. It's one letter off.
Okay.
And the camera wrote.
That gave me a heart attack.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I knew it was my people.
So it's the first 5 are correct, and the last digit's the only one that's off.
Okay.
Hey, put your hands up.
And she's just supposed to deal with the brother's just supposed to deal with the harassment. You're just supposed to understand, hey, you know, modern technology, what you're trusting in, modern technology is what you're invested in. Modern technology is what you're using for racially profiling people. And now all of a sudden, oh, it's modern technology. Hey, you know, things be messing up. No big deal. You know, sorry. One letter off on the plate. Now imagine if the brother was not calm. You know how Jakes can be. If a Jake decided to make a scene and be like, man, that's bullshit. This ain't my, y'all always harassing me. No. And then all it takes is for one moment for them to say, freeze, don't move. And the brother gets put to death because a flock camera said the X was a Y. Imagine if it was some hyped up cop with a vendetta that decided to go all in and abuse the brother, whatever, over these particular cameras. So this is why people are outraged, not only just because of the fact that the flock cameras are being utilized as a means of recording data illegally and taking pictures and doing all this other stuff and creating profiles. Look, they even saying they're getting ready to expand the flock cameras access by the wearables, from the Fitbits to the Bluetooth on your phones. Everything else is patching it all in and creating particular profiles, not just the license plates. So the only thing that you can do is turn your Wi-Fi off and Bluetooth off when you're in these particular areas, because it minimizes the ability to the data collect. But if everything is on, or they're taking the plates, they're matching it with your Fitbit, they're matching it with your Wi-Fi. Notice a lot of the new cars now, they got the Wi-Fi in them. You've got the alarm system, the OnStars, and all this other stuff, man. It's all tapped in. People is all digitized, touch screens on the consoles. It's tapping in and interfacing with each other. They know what they're doing when they create these particular things. So a lot of madness jumping off, man. A lot of madness jumping off. So, prayerfully, I know it's a long one today, but don't fret. I'm not done. I'll be back with a closing Shabbat class at 4:15, and got some more to get into. All right. So if you got it in you, come on back. All right. Otherwise, this will be the end of this particular episode of DSTM, giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and imparting, you always know, remember to fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. All right. Till I see y'all again. Shalom.